got some rather sad news for the Denver Broncos and the NFL. Tony Jones, former tackle, died at the age of 54. In case you guys don't know much about him, he is a two-time Super Bowl champion with the Broncos. His first Super Bowl, he played right tackle, and then the next Super Bowl later, because the Broncos won back to back, he ended up playing left tackle. That's just some information that I think is very valuable, and I'll get to that why I believe that in a minute. He had 13 seasons in the NFL, and he played with Cleveland, Baltimore, and Denver. His final 4 seasons were with Denver. He was an undrafted rookie in 1988. So for him to have a 13 season career as an undrafted rookie, I think that's very impressive. And the source for this was Jeff Legwold, ESPN staff writer. Before I say anything else about Tony Jones, I just want to take a moment of silence. Thank you. Let me start with Tony Jones. The reason why I named that stat right there, the right tackle and the left tackle, the reason why I think that's so impressive is because I think the most important, there's two attributes I think that are very important to an offensive lineman. Okay. It exceeds their size, it exceeds their speed. It's your versatility and it's your longevity. And he has both. You played 13 seasons in the NFL. You played right tackle in one Super Bowl, and then you switched to the completely opposite side in the next Super Bowl, and you were successful at both, which is the reason why the Broncos ended up winning the Super Bowl. So those two Super Bowls. So with that being said, that just shows you how great of a teammate he was. For a guy to switch from one position to the other, and that's what I find most memorable about him is that the true teammates, the great teammates, are willing to put themselves second in order to help the team. That's what I believe. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe you get anywhere by being selfish. I don't. Some people don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I understand like a lot of players have to be selfish in order to accomplish things. And I had like a whole like discussion with this about my roommates, but I do believe that your legacy will be most known if you're unselfish. Okay, you could become the most successful player of all time, and that's okay, or athlete. But you know what? Those stories will still be behind you and how much of how selfish you were and how much of a jerk you were, if that's what you are. If you're unselfish, your legacy will be known on and off the field even more. And I think that's what Tony Jones deserves. I mean, when we're talking about a two-time Super Bowl champion, we're talking about a guy who was able to play different positions in order to help his team. He's played 13 seasons in the NFL, and undrafted rookie at that. Undrafted rookies is very rare for them to even stay in the league, let alone 13 seasons. And I think for that, I think Tony Jones, I think he absolutely deserves to be commended, and I think he absolutely deserves our utmost respect. And for that, the NFL will miss you.
Absolutely, man. So rest in peace. Condolences to his family and Denver Broncos, his friends.
Absolutely.
One thing that really strikes me the most about Tony Jones, not just how he played left tackle and right tackle, but how the fact that he was an undrafted rookie. To be an undrafted rookie and play 13 seasons in any sport is just incredible. Man. You don't see that every day. Usually undrafted rookies last like 4 or 5 years, and that's it. This dude lasted almost 15 years, and that deserves a lot of credit and respect. I also want to go back to what you said about him being very selfless. That's something all greats need to have as a trait. All athletes need to have that as a trait. Like we always say, or something that I always say. You're never gonna win a championship alone. A lot of these guys in basketball go, "Oh yeah, LeBron carries all these teams to championships," but here's my problem, right? And they use the example of Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, here's my problem with that. Did he win it? No, he didn't win it. He won it once, and even then he had Kyrie and Kevin Love on his side. But what happened the other 2 years? He didn't have those guys, right? So what happened? He lost because it was just him running the show. He can't do that. And like I said, you're never gonna get to the promised land without each other. I always say it, and this is something that I live by for as long as I live. In unity, there is strength, and that applies in sports. It's not a one-man job in sports to win a championship. And the fact that he was willing to play two positions in two different Super Bowls, I gotta give him a lot of credit. That deserves a lot of respect. That's something an athlete needs to show a lot more often. Which there's still a lot of athletes out there that are still selfless. But the selfish ones, start taking note, man. Just do me a favor, start taking notes. But with that said, condolences to the Tony Jones, condolences to the Denver Broncos and his friends and family, and you will be missed.